Ooh, we're getting a better crust this time. Gonna slice up a few steaks here, 4 steaks to be exact, ribeye steaks. Now that I have my steaks, I'm going to season them generously with salt. Be generous here. These are some thick steaks, as well as some fresh black pepper. I'm gonna crack that on the steaks. And I'm gonna make sure that both sides are generously seasoned. Gonna take 2, put them in a bag, and going to sous vide those for 2 hours. The other 2 will dry brine in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And here, after 2 hours, we are ready to cook. Ugh, man. Gotta work fast, there's flies. All right, so I saw a couple of videos, mainly Eater had a video on wok-fried steak, so I wanted to try them out myself. So I have a sous vide steak, and I have a steak. Nothing's been done to it, just salted and peppered. And we're gonna fry both in a wok and see how they turn out. And I'm gonna try to keep the flies away too. Anyway, let's oil this up. We want a good amount of oil. So I'm gonna start with the sous vide. I'm gonna cook it for about a total of 30 seconds. We're gonna flip it a bunch. And if by 30 seconds you don't got a good sort of crust on it, go for longer. Obviously not getting it as hot as it would get at a restaurant, but still plenty hot. So this might take a bit longer than 30 seconds is what I'm guessing. Let's turn this. And we're getting like 0 Maillard reaction. I'm guessing it's because the pan is not getting as hot as it needs to. I'm guessing, unfortunately, that this propane stove is not getting as hot as I thought it would. I mean, look how close I can get my face. I don't feel any heat. All right, let's look at what we got. I'm trying to get some Maillard, but I think at this point the steak is probably overcooked, so I'm gonna pull it. And I'm gonna start cooking my other steak. Now this one, for thick steaks, I'm gonna do it about 10 minutes. So let's see what we can do. I'm hoping that the steak comes out at about medium rare. I like to think that my years of steak cooking has given me steak senses, you know, kind of like spidey senses, just not amazing. My neighbors are probably like, I smell steak where I have previously not smelled steak before. All right, so our steaks have finished cooking. I like how the just sort of non-sous vide steak looks. The sous vide steak, you can see, has, for whatever reason, well, less of that delicious Maillard reaction. What I will do to both these steaks, though, is kind of finish it with a little bit of this oil. A little bit of a kiss of death. Now all that's left to do with these is to let them rest, and then we will try them from there. All right, back inside. It's been about 5 minutes. The fried non-sous vide steak is all rested. Our sous vide steak didn't need rest. Wow, I can tell you right now, the sous vide steak feels a little tough. But let's slice it up and see what we've got. Sous vide one, I mean, the knife goes right through it, although this is a sharp knife, so it's probably inconsequential. If we look at it, it's actually about medium. I didn't overcook it too much. Medium is not bad, especially with a fatty cut of meat like the ribeye. I will actually sometimes order it medium just because with a ribeye, in my opinion, medium eats better. All right, now, the one you're probably more looking forward to is our non-sous vide steak. For whatever reason, there's quite a bit of you that do not like sous vide, and you know that that's fine. I love sous vide though. But let's see how this turned out in terms of our experiment. Yeah. A little bit of a more sort of pinkish center. So I was right in guessing that this would come out closer to medium rare, especially in comparison. So if we compare that, that's, of course, it's way more medium. This guy right here is closer to a medium rare going on medium. But the proof is in the proverbial pudding. So let's see how this pudding tastes, except I guess in this case the pudding is steak, right? Okay, let's try the sous vide steak first. As expected, very tender. I was able to pull that right apart, although it's ribeye, so I guess it's tender by default. Definitely a medium steak. Probably a little more medium than I like, but then again, we kept it in the pan, or the wok in this case, for so long that it probably cooked it further than I wanted it to. I remember I was trying to get more of a crust on there and it just didn't happen. So it looks like instead we cooked the steak more than I wanted to. Granted, it's still a delicious steak, just not quite the way I like it. Let's try our non-sous vide. Also pretty tender. Just straight up pan fried this steak. While this steak is definitely closer to the way I like it, the flavors are indiscernible. So what's the verdict here? Well, whether you like sous vide or you err more on the side of tradition, either way, it's steak. And if you cook it right, it won't be wrong. Better patent that, or trademark, whatever. Anyhow, have steak, have it the way you like. You can't go wrong. With that, YFP out.